conversation. The Rivers State governor did not mention any group or any individuals. He only said, well, he's got information that along those areas there are people who carry weapons and bear arms publicly, and that is against the law. So he was Asikatams had said, well, it is the job of these local vigilante groups around that area that has ensured that road remains passable and peaceful, and has ensured that the kidnappings that would normally see on that road has been brought down to the barest minimum. And in the past, also remember that most of these vigilante groups have said they need to carry arms. The Rivers State Commissioner of Police, the current commissioner, has also stated emphatically that there is no going back on that. No vigilante group, no individual is allowed to carry any form of firearms whatsoever. In fact, there was an order that those who carry should be arrested. How well that is being enforced might be another conversation for another day. I'm sure somebody will be asking that question. But this is where we are at the moment with regards to vigilante groups and the use of firearms. And the proliferation of arms, especially in Buguma local governments, was also talked about by Asikatams. Well, he is going to be my guest on the show this morning, and we hopefully are going to get more details about the operations of all the vigilante groups around that area and other vigilante groups across different parts of the state. We know that we have OSAC, we have Emovis, and we know that for Emovis, the chairman of Emohua local government has made it clear that they don't carry arms, and that is not their duty. Their duty is basically to gather information and work with the police using that information that they have gathered. Is that the case for many other vigilante groups in the state? Okay. There has also been the argument that vigilante groups should be allowed to carry weapons because they are fighting some criminals that wield weapons and would not care whether they have weapons or not before they shoot at them. And many people have said they need to defend themselves. You can't tell them to do this job and then they don't carry weapons. But then it still stands to remain that the law of this country only allows for the security agencies, the army, the police, the Air Force, Navy, and those people are the ones who are allowed to wield weapons. And this is where we are at the moment, which brings me to a very interesting question on the show this morning that I would need you to respond to. If you get onto Facebook now, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, you would see there that we're asking you if you would support a law that would enable vigilante groups carry arms. Would you support such a law that would allow vigilante groups carry arms? Let us know your own thoughts about it quickly on Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Share your thoughts with us. I guess will be joining us shortly the chairman of Ijaw Youth Council, Emohua Kalabari, Se-Ikpangi, Asikatams Edwards. As soon as he does, we'll have more information with the situation around those areas. Degema local government, the Emohua Kalabari Road. We'll get more information from him. In the meantime, let us find out from you if you would support it. The dilemma now is, at the moment, the laws of this country does not support local vigilantes to carry arms. It doesn't allow them. Their job is to gather information, local intel, and feed to the relevant authorities that have the legal backing to wield firepower in the course of carrying out their duty. The police is one of them. The army is another one of them. So if we follow that, any other person carrying arms will be seen as acting against the law. And the Commissioner of Police made it clear, well, such groups should be arrested. My guest is here with me in the studio. Before I get across to him, let's open the phone lines and hear from you guys a little bit about this. Would you support such a law that would allow local vigilante groups carry firearms? Would you support it? 0817 923 0003. 0817-923-0007. Asikatams Edward is with me in the studio. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Andrew Femi.
And apologize to us, please.
I sincerely apologize.
Thank you. I accept. I don't know about them. For me, I accept. You're fine. All right. So we'll take a few calls first, and then we get into the conversation with my guest in the studio. Would you support it? On WhatsApp, the number is 0809-030-6416. I'll take that number slow at this time. 0809-030-6416. Would you support a law that would allow local vigilante groups carry firearms? You can call the number 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0003. Or you listen and watch live on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Quickly, your name and where you are calling from, and straight to the point with your response to the question. Nigeria Info.
Good morning, my brother man Andrew.
Morning to you.
I'm calling you from the city of Emohua.
Okay.
My name is David West.
All right, straight to the point, David West, please.
For me, in as much as the law governing the Federal Republic of Nigeria will not make provisions for non-state actors, whether local vigilante or any name it is called, to bear sophisticated firearms. For that reason, I will not support local vigilantes brandishing AK-47s and the like. The law had made provisions for individuals to possess pump action, and that it has to be licensed. And the law says it is for only gaming. Anything outside that is illegal possession of firearms. Then the Kalabari about the road we are talking. Fortunately, I'm from Buguma. It's my route, and I know what we are passing through. But, however, I will not still subscribe to the position that local vigilantes should be armed. All they need to do is to work with the conventional security forces, gather information, give them the information, expose where these hoodlums or these criminals are.
All right, thank you very much, David West. Let's go to Muriel in Okrika. Muriel, good morning.
Thank you, Femi. Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Femi, I wouldn't support it at all. No, I wouldn't. In as much as it is so tempting because of the kind of harms these criminals are carrying, but I wouldn't support it, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, where do these vigilantes go with the guns? They go back to their homes, to their houses. These guns will not be safe in their custody, trust me. But Femi, in as much as I love the vigilantes to be trained by the police, and they say they are being trained by the police, I think in all their outings, as they go out, 1 or 2 policemen should go with them, bearing firearms. The policemen should hold the firearms while the vigilantes carry their teasers, their machetes, and all the lights, all the things they carry along with them. But they should not go alone with those things. They need guns among them, and these guns should be carried by 1 or 2 policemen accompanying them in all their outings and all their missions. That's my honest opinion.
All right, thank you. Let's we'll take Diamond and Braid, and then we come to my guest. Diamond is in Onelga. Diamond, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Okay, I just want to talk about this vigilantes, whether they should carry firearms. My response is yes, they should. If local hunters who go to hunt bush beats in the bush, they carry firearms. Armed robbers carry firearms. Why should vigilantes not carry firearms to protect themselves? Are they not human beings? Should they go and die? No, I think they should carry firearms too. But this firearm should be registered. That's the only thing I say. It should be registered by the government.
Okay. All right then. Thank you, Diamond. Then Braid is in Borokri. Braid, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Also, the IYC president, good morning also.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Chief Comrade I am Braid. I would support that the local vigilantes should be armed. Because in reference to what happens at that Emohua Kalabari Road, we have various military checkpoints. But every day there is serious kidnapping. That is where my elder brother, Chief Surveyor, Spring Braid, who is the senior person at the Asikatams Local Government Council, HPM. They kidnapped him. We met his corpse and not his alive. He wasn't alive. We met his lifeless body. But where we have military checkpoints at that road. But today we have this Amama police. And there is no point. There is no one kidnapping in that road. So what happens? The truth is that the military is not doing their job. These boys are taking over their job.
All right, Braid, thank you very much. Emmanuel is in Rumola. Before we get to Emmanuel, quickly, Edwards, you've heard some of the callers and their position with regards to wielding of arms. The last caller just mentioned one of the focal points of our conversation, which would include the Amama soldiers. And many had concluded or felt that when the governor was speaking to the army, he was possibly referring to the Amama soldiers and others who have been working on that Kalabari axis of the road since we had the insecurity problems around there. What is the Amama soldiers were formed by who?
It was formed by the famous Mujahid Asari Dokubo.
Okay, so it wasn't the community leadership or local government council, because for some people, like for instance, we have the OSPAC and the rest of them who work with local government vigilantes, MOVs, the Emohua local government council put that together, and the rest of them. So for some people, we need to understand clearly the formation of this group. Now you're saying that they were formed by Alhaji
Mujahid
Asari Dokubo, which brings us to the next question of then who would they be answerable to? Because the video was online. I think I was telling you about the video that was online that showed some men who were, I think if you haven't seen it, it's on our Nigeria Info.
To thrive in a fast...
Apologies for that. It's on our Nigeria Info Facebook page where Mr. Dokubo himself was talking to some men who were dressed in uniforms, and he was addressing them, and he brought the questions because if you looked at the comments, many people began to ask, so who formed these people? Who are they loyal to? Is it the community? Is it Alhaji Dokubo? Is it what? So how is their operation and what is it like?
Okay, first, good morning, listeners. Their operation, they are absolutely loyal to the federal government because this security outfit was engaged by the federal government. And they gave the security contract to Mujahid Asari Dokubo.
To do what?
To secure certain areas that were flashpoints of violence preceding the 2023 elections. Of course, Nigerians are aware that at the time, in the southeast, it was a no-go area for Nigerians. It was a mess to us. Then if you go to the north, same thing. The Boko Haram of a thing. At the time, they even declared the then president wanted Muhammadu Buhari and all that. So Nigeria was in a state of anarchy at that time, and they engaged him because of his expertise in security. And this private security, people are beginning to give it a different meaning. It's a replication of what is happening in other civilized nations like the Europe, the America. When you go there, you find out that the government engaged private security to build synergy with the conventional security in protecting the lives and property of the citizens.
All right, let's just go for this commercial. We'll come back and continue from here, so hold your thoughts and join the conversation on Facebook. We'll be back.
The show continues.
and you can watch us live. My guest is the chairman, Ijaw Youth Council, IYC, Kalabari Se-Ikpangi, in Rivers State, Asikatams, Edward. And we've been talking about a lot of issues that was raised. One of them was the proliferation of arm in Degema local government area, which he responded to in the news sometime, and concerns about security on the Emohua Kalabari road. We're asking the ultimate question whether or not you would support a law that allows for local vigilante groups to carry firearms. And some of you have said no and given reasons. A few people have said yes. The Amama soldiers, we are currently talking about them before the commercial we went on, and we're going to continue on that trend. But just to give you a back idea of why we're discussing this, was the governor's comments when he was directing the army to ensure that they address individuals who are carrying firearms and parading, brandishing those arms publicly when the laws of the country doesn't allow that to happen. He did not mention any group per se, but because he mentioned the Kalabari area, a lot of assumptions went towards the Amama soldiers. So, Mr. Edwards, you were trying to clarify for us. You've told us the formation of the Amama soldiers and how Alhaji Asari Dokubo is behind that. And you were also trying to explain the reason why they operate the way they do. If you can continue on that line, please.
Okay, like I said, it's a replication of what has been happening or what is ongoing in other civilized nations like Europe, America, and all that. And because of the expertise and of security, he has the wherewithal, the knowledge, the expertise in security matters. The federal government under Muhammadu Buhari engaged him to protect not just the Emohua Kalabari road, the southeast, the north, the northern part, and the axis. So
we have the Amama soldiers operating in the north.
Yes, yes.
What parts in the north?
Bauchi, Gombe, from Abuja to Kaduna, the expressway from Abuja to Kaduna, they are there. Then in the southeast, you go to Anambra, you go to Imo State, you go to Abia State. They are all there.
But the concerns then would be the kind of powers many people would think this would be given to an individual if they operate this. Because if a government comes tomorrow and says, we don't need your services,
okay, let me come in there.
So that raises a concern for people that you would understand. So if one person controls this and has his power, he could. What if today he decides that his interest is not this? This is his interest.
Andrew, this people would security say outfit was properly profiled. Members of these Amama and Apapa soldiers were well profiled by the DSS. They have their details, and that's why when people feel they are answerable to Mujahid Asari Dokubo, the Balawan of Kalabari, it is a misgiving. It is the federal government that controls the security outfits, and their stay in securing the Emohua Kalabari road was approved.
So are they recognized
by the federal government?
Are they recognized constitutionally as a security apparatus of the country that allows them the ability to carry arms?
Now they don't work on their own. They work in synergy with the Nigerian security forces, the army, the navy, the DSS, the police. They don't equally sub their office. They are supposed to give them credence. Now let me say this. They have been securing the Emohua Kalabari road for about 1 year. And since they came, that place has been peaceful. In fact, one of the factors that gave credence to the just concluded 2023 elections was as a result of their presence on that Emohua Kalabari road. You ask me why?
Why? Have arrests been made, by the way? Have they apprehended anyone and handed over to the police?
Anyone, several. In fact, the pocket of insecurity we were experiencing on that Emohua Kalabari road, those young boys that were perpetrating those criminal acts, were arrested and handed over to the Nigerian police force to deal with. They don't take laws into their hands. Once you're caught, they hand you over, because like I said, they are working directly under the DSS. So once you're caught, they give it to the DSS move it to the police.
Do they carry arms?
These boys?
Yes.
Yes, they should, and I am in support of it. Now, of course, you should know how.
Because if there's a law that doesn't allow that in the country, then are they doing it because they were given certain permits by government, or you said that they work with the DSS? Perhaps the DSS gave them certain permits. What exactly would be the idea around it? Because for many other vigilante groups in the state, they are not seen as to be allowed to carry firearms, unless you're saying that the Amama and Apapa soldiers aren't a vigilante group.
Nigerians forget so soon how this country was mad with violence. Some elements of criminality took over Nigeria and said they will make Muhammad Buhari to be ungovernable. They will make the state ungovernable. They will make Nigeria ungovernable. At the time, they even threatened the life of the former governor of the state, the IPOB, I mean to say. And so, when you see people making sacrifice for the safety and well-being of your state, of your country, that will make our IGRO, our economy viable, I think they should be commended. So you would, for their efforts.
For you would support a law that would allow.
Having said that, let me say, on that Emohua Kalabari road, precisely, there was a time a Nigerian military officer was caught giving information to these criminals, having deals with them. It was a fellow soldier that caught him through their message the interaction they were having through SMS.
It also brings us to say, because Alhaji Dokubo had also mentioned during his visit to the president that, well, he categorically pointed fingers at the military for being largely behind the petroleum smuggling issues that we have as well. And now you are saying, well, the Mama soldiers and working with another soldier from the army were able to apprehend a military officer who was working with these some of these criminals terrorizing the Kalabari access of the road. Now it brings us to even members of the Amama and Papa soldiers. Can one say that there are no or none of these members of the Amama and Papa soldiers involving in any form of illegal activity?
The peculiarity in engaging any member of Amama and Papa soldier is different from the norms. Amama and Papa soldiers, for public sake, I wouldn't want to go into that, but it is peculiar, it is different, and it is professional.
But this was the same thing that was said by
if you're a member of Amama and Papa soldiers, they will tell you the norms.
But this was the same thing.
And so you can't go against it, because if you go against it, it will take you 24 hours, you die.
But there were
it is the norm.
There were things that were said by, this was similar things that were said by those members of OSPAC and those who formed the OSPAC as well, etc., etc. And we've also had complaints about some members of OSPAC who perhaps act outside the provisions of the powers that established their activities. So what's the response to that?
Anyways, the Amamas and Apapa soldiers, for me, it depends who is handling or who is at the helms of affairs, in charge of our local vigilante, like the MOV you mentioned. I'm the leader of AKUSPAC in Akugutoro, and we have our modus operandi. Okay, and so nobody has found that security outfit. One thing, we work immediately. They deploy a DPO to Akugutoro in Abonima. We engage him, and so we build synergy. And so when we are patrolling, we relate with them, and whenever we catch any victim, we immediately move it to the police station, and that's the operation. Now, when you come to a Mama soldier, because of the person in charge of it, that's why I say it depends who is at the ends of affairs, who is leading that security outfit. You can't compare some of these local vigilantes to a Mama and Papa soldier. They are beyond they are not even local vigilante. Like I said, their security outfit engaged by the federal government of Nigeria, working directly with the DSS. So they are not local vigilante, but they are empowered by the DSS, by the federal government, to take arms, to carry arms in securing their territory where they have been assigned to work within that jurisdiction.
So they
have been empowered to carry arms to secure that territory, and so that is the practice.
And who empowered them?
The federal government.
Okay, all right. We'll pause there. Let's take a few more calls before we open the phone lines. We'll take messages on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sure some people would have questions or contributions to make. 0817923 0007 and 0003 are the numbers to call. Meshach Kigbu says, I support the local vigilante to carry firearms. How can you go after someone that carries firearm? You are also human. Ovunda Dickland says, watching from Ebonyi State. Okay, good morning. Yes, I support it, but they should be trained by military officers before allowing them to handle arms. Opubo Hosfall says, so what they need is touch, not arms. Jemberi Miema Dumont says, good morning. I would like the government to use them and support the police, but they should be trained. Thank you. Blessed is in Alu. Quickly, Blessed, good morning.
Good morning, my brother in the studio.
Okay.
I greet your guest also.
Go ahead.
Issue of this Amama Papa security outfit come from Asali Dokubo. That's the second development. What I'm indicating is there is to bear arms. Even the hospitals should bear arms. Because when there are challenges in some locations and they call the local vigilante for it to come and face the people, we use smart for people who carry guns. We use club for people who carry guns. What I mean is for them to carry arms, to bear arms, so that it will be easy for them to represent those people who make things not to be able to, make things not to be good in the country. And besides, look in northern part of the country, there's local vigilante bearing arms. So any part of the country that want to support the federal government in terms of to quench the insecurity, they should bear arms. Come to Allah, Otak Allah, they are trying, but I'm appealing to state government to allow the Allah Otak to bear arms. And besides, CP also should applaud them for good thing they are doing in the community. So, finally, whoever would like Nigeria, I want Nigeria to be moved forward, to tell the federal government or state government to allow the local vigilante to bear arms. That's my own concern.
All right, thank you very much. On WhatsApp, a few messages. Remember, the phone lines are still very open, so you can keep your calls coming in. 0817-923-0003. This person says, good morning to your guest in the studio as well. There is a huge security deficit in our internal sector, and these local security outfits are only complementing efforts of the Nigerian police. Recall there was a time when all manner of criminals were rampage. These local guys have significantly brought the situation under control. This is from Charles in Port Harcourt. Good morning. Asari Dokuba suddenly became the general of Nigerian Army. I saw him on Facebook. Okay, there was that video too on Facebook that many felt uncomfortable with, especially people from the southeastern part of the country. Well, I think we'll leave that for Alhaji Dokubo to personally speak about. I don't think the Kalabari Se-Ikpangi chairman is in the position to address that. But then this one says, good morning. I will support a law for local vigilantes to carry arms. I have my cogent reasons. The Nigerian state cannot effectively provide security. Ogbonna is on the line from Query. Ogbonna, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning, Ogbonna.
Yeah, in as much as some of us here, we don't like what is happening in the country, but we like when information are being dished out, it should be the correct one. Please, I want to correct your guests in the studio. If the federal government has authorized, has given them that power, information to the public should be known. So I want to discard and tell him that the federal government has never in any way made an announcement telling the public through the DSS that they have empowered so person. But if we are supporting them, let them do things accordingly. Because we have also heard in the past, we have people who will be empowered, and tomorrow they begin to be the people to go and steal the fish at the end of the day. Thank you very much. That's my own side.
Thank you very much. And this is one thing I raised up when I said the concern for a few people, for some Rivers people, would be if this is controlled by one person, and yes, it might be for good now, and that is what it is for, but then the power continues to grow. Like you've said, well, they're also operating in parts of the north and the rest of them. What happens the day interests no longer aligns? What then would be the situation? What then happens? And many people, for that reason, are concerned with the fact that one person having that much command. Because for some people, they thought perhaps the local government had set this up, and so it is under the control of the local government. But you have clarified that, well, it was set up by Alhaji Dokubo. Should people be worried that that day would come where alliances or interests might not align, and then we might not have these Mama and Papa soldiers working for the interest of the people of Rivers State or the area that they are located?
Let me correct Ogbonna. They don't bring security matters to the public. It has never been done. It is against the norms, the traditions of security. When they are engaging people on security matters, they will not come and announce to you that they are engaging social persons to protect this, or they are deploying social persons to this other area for protection. Knowing the situation we were at that time, the federal government, in their wisdom, engaged Mujahid Dokubo Edia Balewa. Considering his years of experience on security issues and knowing his strengths on this matter. Having said that, people forget so soon. It is because members of your family have not been handled or killed in cause of insecurity, particularly in the southeast, in the northern part of Nigeria, and in Rivers State along the Emohua Kalabari road. That is why you can say that the federal government did not announce the engagement.
In Degema, you said there's no proliferation of arms. Is that correct? What is the situation like in Degema? Because while you were responding to comments made by the governor at the time, with regards to brandishing of weapons, we have just a few seconds to go. There was also on the news where you had said, well, there's nothing of such happening in Degema because nobody is carrying arms or operating in a fashion that will cause the government to say, oh, we need to now
what we expect from the governor, since the inception of this Fifth Republic, we've never had an Ijaw governor in Rivers State. Now what we expect from the governor in terms of security, since he came, he has been doing well. Now he's complementing the good side of his predecessor. Now what we expect him to do is to call for a meeting to engage Mujahid Asai Dokubo or whoever that is in charge of this security outfit and ask the documents, the engagement.
Unfortunately, time will not allow us, Mr. Edwards. Thank you very much. Ifeami Andrew is my name. We have to go now.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this.
For that shine skin, make you use Vaseline and your skin go the shine as see so.